Listen to me very carefully. At the turn of the century, after the panic at the Millennium Bug, Jar Jar Binks in Windows 98, the geeks inherited the Earth. I've been sent into the past with one mission: to save the world from inferior podcasts. There is now only one possible future. It is NOMCAST. Come with me if you want to geek. Hasta la vista, baby!
Hello, and welcome to NOMCAST, your new podcast about science fiction, fantasy, gaming, movies, TV shows, books, more books, and maybe even some books. But we've got a bunch of people here to talk to you today. I'm Jonathan Hicks, and with me as well is Mark Newbold.
Hiya, hello everyone.
Lisa Hicks.
Hello.
And Nancy Petru.
Howdy.
Fantastic. I hope you can all hear me, and we can certainly hear you. So, basically what we're going to do right now is choose one person at random who will then choose a subject that they want to talk about for the next 10 or 15 minutes. And hopefully we can get something going. So, Lisa, over to you.
Okay. So I'm going to talk about what's been going on this week, what's going to go on this week, some of the big news within the geek TV and movie news. I know a lot about that. I watch a lot of TV. So we'll take it from there. But just a few points, just a few bullet points that I've come across this week, Monday already. And just get a little bit of feedback from you. I feel quite strongly, those who know me know I feel quite strongly about a few things, but I'm trying to be open in my old age. Just get a bit of feedback, and I'm going to listen to your opinions. This is therapy for me. Yeah, wow. Right. I may even say the dirty words a few times. But Marvel. But we'll get there.
Gosh. I was expecting a proper swear. I don't know why I thought that.
No, to Lisa, that is a swear.
That is dirty words.
It is. It's true.
First of all, something is incredibly close to my heart, which is coming to the TV soon, which is Constantine. I am very, very much looking forward to that. Saying that, though, I enjoyed the Keanu Reeves version. I think it was because a lot of people weren't even aware of it. They got everything right. They got a lot of things wrong. But they got a lot of things right. It was good to see it. I would have seen a sequel if Keanu Reeves decided to do it, just simply because they respected the lore that was with it. And I think once you respect the lore that comes with it, it wasn't that bad. But the new show looks amazing. Absolutely amazing. There's a lot of chatter going on at the moment, the fact that he's not going to smoke.
Yeah.
That has been most of the news that I've been seeing about him this week, is like he's not going to smoke, but we kind of
of all
knew
the
that,
things
right?
that Constantine does, and all the stories that they're going to show on this TV show, and everything they're going to dive into, people are complaining that he's not smoking.
That is, I mean, he is going to smoke.
That's nerds for you, though.
But it is a big part of the character. It's a part, I mean, the whole thing, one of the things about his character was that he he was pretty much three-quarters of the way towards having lung cancer, and he kept smoking, he didn't give a rat's ass. So
maybe it's something they'll bring in later into the series. I mean, like you say, it is an important plot point.
He said that it's all down to network, and apparently there's two networks that are sharing this. One network doesn't like it, and the other network's not too bothered about it. And you'll find that the network that's not too bothered about it are the ones that are going to go in for the whole demon thing, the occult. They're going to grip that, and that is the good part. So if, sometimes they're going to allude to the smoking, he's going to have cigarettes, he's going to have all of that, but he's not going to be chain smoking very much like Keanu Reeves' character did, which once again, back to my original point, was a good thing about the show. But I'm really interested to see. I've purposely tried to not read too much about it. I've watched the trailers, I've watched all the updates and that, but I'm just, all of the little characters that come along with it just makes me hope that one day we're going to see, oh my God, can you imagine if they made a Preacher show?
Oh, you've read my mind.
Yeah, I know.
Rufus Sewell has to
we
play
say this
Preacher
every single
before
time
I
we talk
die.
about Preacher. It always comes back to Rufus Sewell. He was perfect for the role.
Rufus Sewell. If he didn't play, is it Johnny Alpha?
Yeah, he's a bit old now to play Johnny Alpha. Sam Worthington would be really good, yeah. And Andrew Petru as well. I thought he's got the face for it. Alex Petru. I do apologise.
Yeah.
He's definitely got the face for it.
I just say just stick Carl Urban in everything.
Right. Moving on.
There we go. I've dropped the urban bomb.
And it's out of the way. That's the elephant out of the room.
It's not out of the way. It's just started.
It's just started. Mark, yes. It's just started.
Yes.
So what does everybody else think?
Yeah.
I've seen the trailer. I haven't read all the comics or anything like that. I've been sort of kind of trying to get into that. But just based on the trailer, my husband knows zero about most comic things, and he was highly, highly interested in watching it. So that's probably a good sign.
He will like it because it's filthy. Not in that kind of 50 Shades
I mean, I'll like it then.
Not as smut. It's if you like your occult raw, that is for you, without a doubt. I mean, don't forget, his lady is a tanner. Do you know what I mean? So, I want to. Let's take this all the way. I see this going further. Justice League Dark. Oh my God.
Oh, I mean, I keep dreaming on that one.
No, because yeah, but the thing is that in one of the trailers, one of the shots, he's dusting off Dr. Fate's mask.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And apparently they've just cast somebody for the new movie, the Batman vs Superman, and they're alluding to him being Dr. Fate. It's just look out for all the little Easter eggs. If you see the Flash, the Easter eggs in that, it's just,
Yeah.
Which brings me on to my second point.
Yeah.
The Flash TV show.
No, I've not seen anything to do with the Flash TV show, but I've heard good things about it.
It's just about time. It's about time we start to do something, Team DC, that starts to do something.
I agree.
That we can hold our head up high, and we're owning the TV. I mean, we've had some heated debates about this, Jonathan.
No. You've had a heated debate. I've got to sat there and smile politely.
Yeah, I just think it's
marriage
good.
To me.
Right?
Yes, you've got the Marvel house at the moment. They're owning the movies without a doubt. The money they're chucking out, they're bringing out good high class. They've reinvented. I can't believe I'm saying this. This is therapy. It's like I've paid.
Fair.
I'm being fair.
I know. Good for you.
I think that it's very much like listen, my son came along at the right age that Marvel started getting into this. His favourite thing in the whole world is Nova. I never thought I'd allow that, but I did, so I'm growing as a person. And he loves the Guardians of the Galaxy, but Nova is his thing. And this, at the moment, it's coming along, and they're reinventing it for them. DC are catching on to that for the younger viewers. The Tiny Titans and the Teen Titans are amazing. Then you've got Batman's going to be releasing in the fall. You've got Arkham Academy. I can't wait for any of that.
Yeah,
and
I think. Sorry,
go on. No, go on.
I was going to say, I think DC are doing exceptionally well with the TV shows. I must admit, I'm not enamoured by Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I think that's going to have to do something pretty special to get me back into that.
I was putting in that one.
Yeah, but I mean, Smallville wasn't so bad. I didn't really like the sort of teen drama aspects and all the angst aspect to it. And at the very end, when he finally ripped his shirt open, you think, oh my God, he's going to become Superman. That was the end of the series. It was really annoying.
Yeah,
and Arrow is very, very good indeed. Arrow's, I am really enjoying that.
Well, that's the thing, because you've got the Arrow TV show. Yes, if you're not a fan, it takes some time to get into it. But oh my God, the grin on my face when Deathstroke beat the crap out of him was amazing. It wasn't even Deathstroke, but you saw the mask and you were like, oh my God, yes.
Yeah.
You've got people involved that actually have done research. You have finally, one of these houses have finally got people on the project that actually know their stuff inside out. It's absolutely amazing the level that they've gone to. Yes, season 2 you get the Domino Mask, etc., Black Canary. I don't want to put too many spoilers out there for anybody who hasn't watched it, but their level of detail that they have put, and you can show it's paid off because now you've got the Flash show. The Flash show. Oh my God.
And to be fair as well,
I'm assuming that Sheldon Cooper's playing the Flash because he was also in the Flash outfit. So I'm assuming that Sheldon.
I'm not sure it would be so good if it was, but it's the fight. One of the it would be the comedy element. That would be the after show. The Flash show, I know some fans who are hardcore Flash fans, and it's not one of those characters that you see a lot of people heavily into, which is what makes me love him even more. He's
Which
lucky.
Flash is it? Is it Barry or Jay?
It's Barry.
Barry.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's brilliant because 45-minute pilot, I don't know if any of you guys have caught it, but 45-minute pilot, you get the backstory, you get an origin story, and you get exactly where they're going. You get a bit of Arrow chucked in there. I mean, if you've seen Arrow, you've seen it all go down anyway, but you even get him and Iris. So it's one fan who is hardcore, and he's more stubborn than me. He actually said, he was speechless, and he actually said, there's nothing that I can say. It was everything that I wanted and more. And that's the best compliment that you can give as a fan, to say that somebody has put this on and it's going to go on. And then you've got the Gotham TV show that's just going to blow everything out of the water.
Really looking forward to that.
The Gotham TV show, it looks excellent. I've got high hopes for that.
They've picked two of my favourite baddies. Two of my favourite baddies are going to be in this on a regular basis. You've got the Penguin and you've got Edward Nygma. I'm so
I have one nitpick though. Why doesn't Gordon have a mustache? I feel like that's my one.
He will, but this is one of the things.
No, it really bothers me. Like, what does he have to earn the mustache? When Bruce starts rebelling, he grows the mustache.
I'm sorry, mate. You cannot grow a mustache until you become commissioner. Sort your life out.
I guess so.
But it's like
level up.
It's like the very same things like Batman vs Superman, all the casting that's gone on with that. I mean, I'm excited to see Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. I'm excited to see, Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor, because everyone's going, he's got no hair. You don't know what you're going to get. You don't know what is going to happen. You're obviously going to see an origin thing going on here. What happens? Lex Luthor has to turn into the Lex Luthor we all know. Gal Gadot has to, everyone keeps saying it's not her first language. Diana wasn't American. She wasn't. Her first language was not English. And I'm excited to see it because I have complete faith in the people that are making this film, and it's not often that I have that, but I have complete faith in these people. They've not been wrong with the Batman.
Yeah, I was about to say that. I'm not convinced. I'll be honest with you, I'm not convinced with Gal Gadot, but up to yet, especially with the three Batman films and the excellent Man of Steel film, which was my favourite film of last year.
You went to see that with Mark.
They haven't let me down at all with casting. So I don't know. It remains to be seen.
And there's just so many the comic book movies, the adaptations that are coming out into TV. It's chock-a-block, and I hate to say it, and I don't know why they're doing it, but once again, I feel like it's not my problem. But Daredevil, I just don't know what the idea was.
Oh yeah.
But I don't understand.
I'm looking forward to it because I just want to see where they go with it. But I don't know. Amazing.
Yeah, it could be.
It could be potential.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm one of those people who didn't mind the movie, the Ben Affleck movie. I much prefer the director's cut to the actual theatrical release because it made a hell of a lot more sense. But it didn't really.
You're breaking up.
I'm sorry. But it didn't. It didn't. I don't know. It stood up to repeat viewing, but it's not something. It's not up there with my favourites, like all the new Marvel films and Man of Steel and the new Batman films. But it's not a bad film. But then again, they also made Elektra, which basically shot itself in the foot, which was terrible. It was Marvel's.
Kudos to her for the high kicks, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah. She made a good. She made a good.
She ain't no Lady Shiva. That's it.
Indeed.
But yeah, they're the things that I'm looking forward to, and there's more and more news coming out of that. The one thing I'm not particularly looking forward to, and Nancy's going to beat me.
Oh.
The Doctor Who trailer. What?
Oh, and I'm not going to be. Oh no. Doctor Who has waned considerably in my affections since Matt Smith took the helm. No offense to Matt Smith. I think he's a lovely person, but
yeah.
No thanks. Well, you know whose fault it is. We could talk about this all day, but whatever. No, I'm no, Doctor Who hurt my feelings once. I'm not going to go back again.
Go on, no, carry on. Whose fault? Whose fault?
Say that. You've got to follow through.
Whose was it?
Well, it's common for people who don't like Moffat taking the helm. I just don't like his stories. There's nothing for me to attach to. I liked the soppy, sad, romantic-y kind of stuff that Davies did.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've just finished watching. I've just finished watching Series 6, and I must admit I wasn't enamoured by it. So,
I know.
But it's not bad. There's still a lot of adventure there. It's still very quirky. It's a little bit of fun. But I don't know. We'll see.
You think Xena's was written?
Xena's fantastic. You look beneath all those cartoonish layers, and Xena is an excellent program because it's got everything. It's quite well written. It's sharp. It's witty. It's funny. The characters you can get quite attached to them if you really want to. And it doesn't take itself seriously. Everything about it is very tongue-in-cheek. So when those moments of gravitas... Sorry?
Xena is like NCIS. The way you describe
oh
Xena
my God.
describe NCIS.
That is the best comparison.
but when you get those moments of gravitas... It's, it can hit you quite hard. It's like, bloody hell. That entire storyline with Gabrielle and Hope is amazing. It's absolutely fantastic. And even Callisto, but it's just fun. It was a fun weekly show.
It's just a brilliant. Carl Urban's hair in that was fantastic.
You can't go. Are you talking about Carl Urban again?
Carl Urban.
He broke Xena's legs. I'm not having that. I'm sorry.
Oh, in such a fabulous fashion. He crucified her on a beach.
Yeah, and then broke her legs. Enjoy the view, smack.
Oh, he's so romantic.
Yeah, with
how he breaks legs.
Yeah.
Last point is just two films that I'm looking forward to. Actually, obviously there's a Predator reboot, but it's going to be a sequel, so everyone relax.
Yeah,
everyone relax. It's going to be a sequel.
I certainly hope so, because I can't imagine anybody but Shane Black doing it. I mean, at the end of the day, he pretty much wrote the original movie and he starred in it, so I think he knows what he's doing.
Well, a sequel to what, though? I don't know, since there's been about 15 versions of Aliens, Requiem, Predator.
Don't even bring those up.
I will vomit
about that. There's
Predator
a story about
versus
that.
Husky. Well, I don't know.
Come on, Mark, what was the story?
The story was... I'll tell you very quickly because I'm stepping in on Lisa's time.
No,
the story is that I know how bad Alien vs Predator Requiem is because John, who's a massive Alien and Predator fan, bought Alien vs Predator Requiem at like 10 o'clock in the morning from Woolworths, and by noon he'd come round to my house and went, "I've got something for you," and I went, "What's that?" And he went, "Here you are," and he gave me a copy of the DVD, and I went, "Oh, you bought me a copy?" He went, "No, that's mine. I never want to watch that rubbish again," and walked off. So that's how bad that film is. I know how bad that film is.
Both films, I just wanted to die. It was just like, thank you very much for putting the final nails in the franchise coffin. Thank you very much indeed.
To be honest, I just love Predator. I mean, I think when I was about 9, I painted the clan thing on my forehead. I love Predator. I just, I said the other day something quite deep. I don't see a lot of good in people, just Predator. I think he's misunderstood individual, and, I would like to see them more positively, get some PR. And I like Predator 1 and 2. I don't like the Requiem things and that because the kids in the whatever. But I like the idea.
It's just a terrible film.
The recent one was brilliant because you know what? The music was back.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that. Actually, it was quite good. I mean, Lawrence Fishburne pretty much ate the scenery, but it was a pretty good film.
I mean, who doesn't quote Arnie during the day from the Predator film? Who doesn't do that? Everybody does. Dylan, you son of a bitch. Everyone does that on a daily basis.
Yeah, I do that every morning when I wake up. Yeah.
I just look in the mirror and say, "I'm a sexual tyrannosaur." Every morning.
Well, just like your faggots around here. This story is a goddamn sexual tyrannosaurus, just like me. Yeah, strap this on your sore ass blade.
You see?
Oh my gosh.
Sorry.
See, everybody does it. Yeah. Everybody does it.
Yeah.
I love that film. Is great. I don't want to see Arnie do any more. I don't. But I love the last one because even the little things, the smile on my face when the music came up, brilliant. Loved it.
I think Arnie's a bit past it now to take on the Predator. Get to the Zimmer frame. This just wouldn't work, would it?
Get to the chopper.
Get to the standard stair lift. No, it just wouldn't. It wouldn't happen.
He'll still be doing like Expendables 12, so
yeah.
So I won't worry too much about Arnie. But the last thing, obviously, I know John's going to get a bit excited about this, but they've finally started putting some pictures out about Mad Max that makes you think this is actually going to be released. I'm very excited, but Charlize Theron, what? That's another film that I've tried not to read too much about because there's so many things that they're just trying to give you little tidbits to keep you interested. So you don't know how much of that is actual factual and what isn't. But Mad Max looks just amazing. It looks like everything that you need it to be. It's dirty sci-fi. I love it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. As a massive Mad Max fan, not so much of the third one, Beyond Thunderdome, which is not a bad film, but I don't know, it didn't really have the same sort of gritty edge as the first two films. No, I am looking forward to it. And let's face it, Thomas Hardy is one of my man crushes. The guy's amazing, so it's going to be...
Yes.
Yeah, he is amazing.
Oh man,
But
I would go gay for him.
Okay.
Go.
Yeah.
Such a great topic.
I know. But I can't wait because people I work with are tired of me turning my backpack around to my front and pretending I'm a master blaster.
Yeah.
So nobody gets that. Nobody knows what I'm doing. I look like anything else. So nobody understands what I'm doing simply because I'm hobbit sized and it don't work. But
of course you do.
I just want people to understand what I'm talking about. But yeah, so that's my section.
Brilliant. Mark, over to yourself. What would you like to talk about this evening?
Well, I was going to talk about the most obvious subject in the world for me to talk about, which is Star Wars. But I'm now, after that conversation, I'm beginning to think the subject I was going to pick is who would you turn gay for? But no,
right now, Thomas Hardy, Benedict Cumberbatch, and Michael Fassbender.
Okay, well done.
Well, what about Thorin? If you dump Thorin, God, you're so shallow.
I like him, but he's a bit short.
I can't believe Carl Urban wasn't even in that. I can't believe it. What's wrong with you as a man?
I think I'm surprised myself.
Oh, he's amazing.
Mark, sorry, continue.
Yeah, sorry, Mark.
Actually, no, I've sidetracked myself there. That was quite interesting. The subject I'm going to pick tonight, and we should insert a round of applause for Lisa because that was really interesting.
Oh, a round of applause for Lisa, everybody.
Round of applause.
Keep going, okay. And stop.
Very good. Is Star Wars spoilers? What do you think about Star Wars spoilers? Now, the reason I say this is obviously a couple of weeks ago, June the 12th, Harrison Ford managed to have an accident on the set of The Falcon, believe it or not. And
are they going to CGI in his leg?
Well, no. So he was spotted yesterday in Mayfair in London with one of these sort of weird sort of crutch things where his leg is up at an angle to heel, or his ankle or whatever, lower part of his leg. So one of the latest rumours is that they might actually incorporate the injury into the storyline because, it's the old Lethal Weapon 2, we're getting too old for this doodah type thought. They might sort of work it in. But we posted stuff on Jedi News all about his leg injury, hypothesised on the podcast about whether or not it would put filming back. Rumours came out that it'd be 6 months. Other rumours came out that he was peed off, had gone home in a huff and didn't want to come back. Loads of stuff. Now, he's been spotted in London, walking around, one leg, Jake the Peg, getting around.
Can't say that today.
Yeah, a really bad choice of words. And, sorry about that. And, the whole point being is, stuff goes out there, some of it's true, some of it's not, some of it's rumour, some of it's hypothesis, which is generally what we do, and it's just sort of spitballing about what might be happening. I'd like to know from you three guys, what do you think, not just about Star Wars, but rumours in general, really, a broader question. Obviously, fans want to talk about it. We want to talk about it. It's our bread and butter on the website because, we're a news site. So we want to pose questions. Half the people are take it in the spirit it's intended. They want to talk about it and think about it and get their own views or whatever and listen to what we say and then think their own things. The other half hate it. Oh, you're just making stuff up. Link baiting is isn't it? Trying to get hits. Even though the more hits we get, the more it costs us because the bandwidth costs a fortune, but people don't get that. What do you guys think? I will go first to Nancy. What do you think about that?
About rumors in general? Like
rumors in general? Yeah, I'm talking about Star Wars.
Well,
anything, what do you think about it?
Speaking as someone who had to block people on Twitter because they were giving me so much grief over spoiling a book that came out in the 80s, a la Game of Thrones, I was just kind of like, I don't know. I feel like you have your own. I think the onus is on you to avoid spoilers and not really the other way around, but a lot of people would have you believe it's the other way. Yeah. Like I should censor myself or not discuss things with other people. But that's sort of like a known quantity, right? The books and the show are, the books are written. You're talking more about like Star Wars. I remember when I heard that he'd broken his leg on the set, I was like, well, great. How many months is that going to set us back? And then it came out, it was like, oh, it's 6 months. Oh, now he doesn't want to do it. It's like, oh, okay. And then all the set pictures got leaked, which I excitedly looked at, But at the same time, I don't know. I don't care about being spoiled for Star Wars. Star Wars has a lot to make up for me. So I don't care about being spoiled. They have to prove that it's something I want to see. This is coming from someone whose first love was Star Wars. My parents almost had me go to a shrink because I was so obsessed with it. So I'm not kidding. So, I don't know. Star Wars I always describe as like an abusive boyfriend. Like, I kept coming back because it kept offering me nice things, and then it would hurt me. So eventually I had to break up with Star Wars forever, in general. But, I don't know, in terms of rumor, I mean, I don't really care. If I don't want to be spoiled, I'm not going to go looking for it. It's pretty much that simple.
Yeah.
That's a good way of putting it, because personally, spoilers don't bother me. They never bothered me. I knew the twist of the Sixth Sense before I saw it. It didn't ruin the film for me at all.
Right.
And I actually mentioned that on a podcast the other day, and I got an email from somebody saying, "I can't believe you ruined the end of the film."
Oh my gosh.
What? But similar to your Game of Thrones point, I know they I've got a lot of catching up to with Game of Thrones. I'm not up to date at all, but I know that they twist and tweak and change things from the books. But for the most part, it's following a similar line, isn't it? So that's a really good example, because if anybody says anything, you can go, yeah, that book came out in like 1992. What do you want about? It's like twisting giving away the end of the Hobbit sort of thing. It's like, but John, what do you think about
that? I never used to be that bothered about spoilers, because I'm the impatient type, so I wanted to know what was coming next, you know what I mean? Especially if it was something big like Star Wars. I mean, when episode 1 was about to come out, I mean, I remember me and you, Mark, spent all our time either on the internet or whatever internet we could get hold of, or reading articles, buying those CDs, and it was like just basically trying to learn as much as possible. And to me, maybe that was part of the reason why I didn't like it as much as I should have done, because I'd already built up this massive sort of presupposed image in my head about what sort of film it was going to be. So when I actually sat down and watched it, I didn't actually enjoy it as much. And the same with the other 2 films as well. I mean, I went out of my way, pretty much spoiled myself. But recently I've come to learn that's not spoiling, and like Nancy said, staying away from places which will talk about it. Thor 2, The Dark World, I pretty much didn't know anything about it. I didn't follow it, I didn't read about it, I didn't follow anything at all. When we sat down and watched it a couple of months ago, I thought it was absolutely brilliant, because there was moments in there, the big tragic moment that's in there, I did not see coming at all. So it's kind of like, oh my God, has that really happened? And then when you see the reactions of like Thor, and especially Loki as well, as to what had happened, you're sort of watching it, you're thinking, this is fantastic. And I didn't see that coming. And it completely changed the way when I was a kid, when I used to go and see films, of course, I never used to know anything about them. I'd walk into that cinema, I'd know a few things that I might have read in the back of a magazine somewhere, and then everything that I watched on that big screen is it was my first experience. With spoilers, or following films, or following their production up until release, I kind of think that's, you can ruin it for yourself a little bit. So I'm trying to get into the habit now of staying away from news and details about films that I really, really want to see.
That's a good point.
Other than that, with Star Wars, sorry to interrupt, Mark, with Star Wars, it doesn't bother me that much, because there's so much Star Wars out there. And like Nancy said, you do go back expecting fireworks and fun, and then you might feel a little bit let down. But at the end of the day, I still love Star Wars, because those aspects of it that I don't like, I'll just take them out, put them to one side and say, ignore that, let's concentrate on what I'm enjoying.
That's a good way. Yeah, we've obviously got a large team of people who work on the site on Jedi News, and at least 50% are kind of thinking what you're thinking now. They're going to try and steer clear of as much as they can before they go into the new. I mean, really, we're only not 500. We're I think 536 days away from the film coming out, providing Harrison's leg doesn't bump it back to May the following year, which I would personally like. But there you go, that's just me. But it's a tricky thing. I mean, when you're on the net, especially when you're on social media, that's the minefield, isn't it? Social media is the place to avoid. You can go onto IO9, you can choose what you want to look at. You can go onto news sites and Ain't It Cool and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. You can steer clear of what you don't want to read. But if you go onto social media, there's no you don't want to know the results of tonight's football match. Don't go onto social media.
Don't go on the internet, full stop.
Exactly. So it's a minefield. Like I say, me more now than ever, I know I'm not going to avoid hearing rumours. I've already heard too much about episode 7 as it is, but it sounds awesome. I've got to say, it sounds absolutely freaking awesome.
Yeah. Agreed.
Lisa, I want your honest, wholehearted opinion. Don't hold back.
It's a tricky thing. Everybody knows my number one passion, other than my son and husband, is Batman. When they were making the Nolan Batman, I didn't read a single thing. Not a single thing. And it was hard. It was hard for me to do, but I didn't read a single thing. And when I went to see them, every time I personally wasn't disappointed. I mean, the last one got a lot of flack, But I was at the end. I was in tears. Because it was iconic. And that's all I needed it to be. It needs to be for me. I don't care about what anyone else thinks. Never have. It needed to be for me. And it was. And I feel the benefit of staying away from these things. But rumours, it's the internet, man. These people have got nothing to do. I mean, I heard the most ridiculous rumour today that got out of control, that Nathan Fillion, he's been cast for the Guardians of the Galaxy as Nova.
Oh, I heard that too.
That's absolutely ridiculous.
Last week.
My 7-year-old could tell you that he wouldn't be cast as Nova. Nova, that Marvel has spent a lot of money. Even the original Sinners acknowledged it as Sam Alexander. He's like 12, 15, whatever. Nathan Fillion is not going to. They're not going to go back when they're spending a lot of money on a new branch of Nova. Why would they do that? But then you get angry with these people because someone set that up and it snowballs. And you have to use a little bit of intelligence and say that's ridiculous. But you've got a lot of sites on there like Movie Pilot and people, anybody that's got a Twitter or Facebook account their articles aren't checked; they're just posted.
Tell us. Yeah.
So a lot of people can put these things out. It's one of these things like the whole Charlie Hunnam thing for the 50 Shades, for example. I know it's not nerdy, but it's just one of those things that just got. I don't know. Rumours, just people have got nothing else. It's the internet, basically.
Yeah.
You just got to take it all with a pinch of salt, because 9 times out of 10, how many people were cast as Batman before they actually put Ben Affleck? And then when Ben Affleck was cast, I was hoping that was a rumour, but it weren't. So it's a bit of give and take. So, but he's I'm once again putting absolute faith in it. But it's just like I called the Arkham Knight game. Yes, that's coming into my life.
Once we get a Xbox One and or a PS4. I knew, I could tell you months ago that was Jason Todd. Any Batman fan worth their salt would look at the picture released and tell you that is a man with combats on and guns and, the arm guards. That is Jason Todd. That is the helmet, and they've just put the bat thing around it, and that's how they create the Arkham Knight. I could have told you that months ago. And they've released it saying this morning that it possibly could be Jason Todd. This is another rumour, but I'm like, it is. Listen to Lisa. It is. So, but then I'm not too comfortable about hurting Jason Todd. So
Todd's been hurt before.
He's hurt before, but he's misunderstood.
Yeah, like the Predator. Yeah.
Yeah, that's nothing. Don't get me started.
Death in the Family happened 87, 88, and it was that public vote, and they voted to kill him. There was a reason why they bumped him off.
Yeah, there was, but my God, thank God for bringing him back, because in my opinion, he's got some. I have to rephrase this. He's got the balls that Bat family needs. Quite frankly, he's great, and he's but they're so hypocritical. Oh, we're going off the.
No, carry on, Lisa. Okay. There's plenty of gigabytes on my computer. I can record all night.
No, I'm just saying, it's once again, it's all hypocrite, because, Dick Grayson, the new Grayson super spy, oh my God, he's got guns now, the bats don't kill, oh my God. Back to your point, Mark.
Right, who would you go gay for?
Jason.
It's a good point, because for spoilers to hurt, you've got to be savvy to the subject. So, if you know about Star Wars, you know about Batman, you know about whatever, it only affects you if you're really knowledgeable. If you're not knowledgeable, any Tom, Dick and Harry can go onto IMDb and put stuff on, or Movie Pilot, and goodness knows they've been contacting us to try and put stuff on the site. No, thank you very much. We'll stick to our own.
Exactly.
So, and that's a really good example. So if you know about things, like you picked up that Arkham Knight thing from a mile off because you've got the eye for it. A lot of people don't. So yeah, spoilers. It's a tricky one. I mean, we tread carefully doing what we do, really carefully, because it's the devil in the deep blue sea, isn't it? The deep blue sea is the fandom that's going to kick off and maybe turn on you, because people can get a bee in the bonnet about certain sites, and there's sites like Latino Review that take a lot of flack, and Movie Pilot you've mentioned. In Star Wars fandom, there was a site years ago, John might remember it, Super Shadow, a guy who made out that he was a big friend of George Lucas's. Became a bit of a joke in the end, but there's all these sort of sites. And then the devil, if you want to call it, for us certainly, is Bad Robot, Disney and Lucasfilm. You don't want to give the farm away. You don't want to put the wrong thing on the site because cease and desists really hurt. So, you're very, very careful. Yeah, so tricky line. That's me done. I will not talk about Star Wars again tonight.
No, we haven't had enough Star Wars, actually.
No. Okay, Mark. Just to give you an extra 5 minutes, Mark. What's the biggest news in Star Wars fandom at the moment?
Ooh.
What's the biggest thing out there that everybody's talking about other than Harrison Ford breaking his leg and shooting first?
Other than Harrison Ford breaking his leg? That's a really good question.
Andy Serkis recently did an interview, didn't he, Mark? About
You've made my day mentioning Andy Serkis.
Oh.
Andy Serkis only follows 40, or until yesterday, only followed 45 people on Twitter, and I was the 46th. Serkis follows me on Twitter. I nearly pooped a brick when I saw it.
I remember Eddie James almost followed me on Twitter once, and it was just the best thing in my life. And every time he finished a tweet, he went, "So say we all." And I was like, "Oh my god!"
Oh, really?
This is epic.
You're getting followed by Gaff. That's amazing.
That's it. Yeah, I want to tell him that your son's put on a bit of weight. I don't know what's going down with Apollo right now, but you need to have a good chat with him. Just, get a bit of training out there.
Biggest piece of Star Wars news, I will tell you, the biggest piece of Star Wars news right now is that there's a rumour that Carrie Fisher's daughter, Billy, will be playing a young Princess Leia in flashback scenes in Episode 7. Loads of people are going around saying that can't be true because, one, she doesn't look that much like her. She kind of does. And two, they don't do flashback scenes in Star Wars films. And that's my argument to that is, that's George's Star Wars films.
Star Wars films, yeah.
These are Disney's Star Wars films. And JJ does do flashbacks. So if JJ wants to use that movie vocabulary to get a storyline across, he will. So I think there could be flashbacks in these new Star Wars films. Why not? So even though it's an easy thing to debunk. Now, Andy Peters, remember Andy Peters from Going Live?
Oh, yeah. Who, there's a bit of trivia for you, was the English voice on the aeroplane in Toy Story 2.
Absolutely right. I was talking to somebody about it today, funny enough. Very, very funny you should mention that, John. Andy Peters was apparently on the Episode 7 set and did a report on Good Morning Britain this morning. One of my friends, Nige, contacted him via Twitter and said, "Were you really on the sets?" "Yes, I am on the sets." "Is this story you've come out with about Billy playing Princess Leia in the new Star Wars film true?" "As far as I understand, yes, it is." So it's not just the tabloids, because all the Americans obviously very understandably say, British tabloids, yeah, that's like reading the National Enquirer. Let's not go there. But now...
Do they, Nancy? Do they?
I'm not quite sure, actually. I don't read tabloids.
Oh.
You're better off without them. But now it's been on Good Morning Britain, which is obviously reasonably reputable. So there you go. That's the big rumour I would say at the moment. Today, right now as we speak, Carrie Fisher's daughter being in Episode 7.
Fantastic.
Wow.
Whoa.
Right, so thank you very much for that. It's over to you, Nancy.
Oh.
All right. I thought that since I would probably talk about games. That's what I love. E3 just concluded in California at the beginning of this month. Mm-hmm. And with that, as usual, that's the Electronic Entertainment Expo for people not in the know. Out of that, of course, came a ton of fantastic coverage of the latest crop of games from the industry. There are a lot of indie games this year. Indie games have kind of been steadily on the rise, especially with stuff like Kickstarter, crowdfunding, that kind of thing, where you don't have to go through a traditional publisher to get your game out. So a lot of strong indie presence this year. There are a lot of games, and it was very hard to narrow it down to one game I wanted to talk about. But I thought this was something that I'm personally excited for, and I think probably y'all might be too. I don't know, Mark, how you are on the video game front there.
I am an absolute Luddite. The last computer game I bought was Caterpillar on the Atari 2600.
That was the best answer you could give.
You strike me as a Duke Nukem fan.
I had dabbled.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I got tendonitis in my foot. I had to give it up.
Well, John and Lisa, I think y'all would be interested in it. It's coming out this year, and it's called Middle Earth: Shadow of Mordor.
Oh my God!
It's a biography of my life.
Well, it's developed by Monolith Productions, published by WB Interactive Entertainment. It is a game, an action RPG, that is set between The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, and it's kind of like Assassin's Creed, but in Middle Earth. which is amazing. Assassin's Creed is one of my favorite franchises. Their issue with female representation, totally notwithstanding. I don't want to get into that this time. But I love Assassin's Creed. I can't tell you how satisfying it is to, like, my favorite game, well, it was Brotherhood, but in the second game, you actually get to murder the Pope. It's pretty fun.
Oh my God, can we say that? Can we say that?
To be fair, it's Rodrigo Borgia. Everyone knew that he was corrupt.
Yeah.
I didn't feel that bad. But anyway, so you get to play as a ranger, and you have these kind of wraith abilities. They say wraith. They haven't really expanded on that, but just from the character art, it kind of looks like ring wraith, maybe, abilities.
Yeah. Wow.
It looks like a pretty deep system of exploration, sneaking, assassination. It looks pretty fun. They've been touting their Nemesis system, which there are orcs are a main feature. They said that they wanted to. No one ever showcases the orcs, and since apparently all of these people who developed it are massive nerds, Tolkien nerds themselves, they wanted to focus on orcs and the orc system. I guess how they were building up, I suppose, before the Lord of the Rings.
Wow.
So based on your interactions with certain, like, orc leaders, like, if you don't have to kill anybody, it'll be interesting to see how it works. It sounds very fluid. Like, if you have to accomplish your objective, but you push your orc leader in the fire instead of actually killing him, then when you see him next time, he's going to be suspicious and on the hunt for you and blackened and grizzled, etc. So, sounds kind of interesting. What else?
I think there's a mechanic in there, isn't there, where you can grab hold of their face and make them work for you. You sort of you kind of possess them, and then they go off and they become enamored by you, and then they basically do your bidding. I remember we were watching some E3 trailers recently, and there was an orc boss, and he was basically looking for the guy, and another orc turned up, and he obviously had the handprint on his face.
Yeah.
And then the protagonist turned up and kicked all 7 shades of arse all over the place. But
Indeed.
It was a fantastic trailer, and I've seen some gameplay footage as well, and it is absolutely, it's a beautiful looking game. It's very adult orientated, but it's a beautiful game.
Oh, thank God, right? I mean, seriously. It
There's-
really needed, like, an adult Middle-earth game
Yeah.
that was
There's,
taken seriously. What was that, Lisa?
I was just saying that there's one game, actually, that I am really looking forward to from the E3 previews, and that is Metal Gear. I can't wait.
Phantom Pain, I think is what it's called.
Yeah. It just looks so good.
Metal Gear.
There's a little part of me that you grow up with that computer game, you know, Konami just, you know, I'm glad it's still going. I was even looking at some of, like, the second-hand games, and they're still quite expensive because they are so popular. And it's to see that they're still giving the same level of commitment to them is brilliant. I'm excited to see this new one. The trailer went on forever. It was
boy.
Yeah, like the
Is that
cutscenes.
Hideo Kojima all over, or what? That man
loves
is
that.
obsessed with himself.
Yeah.
But it totally shows. I know, that's like our favorite. I play those games with my husband, like either one of us plays and one of us watches, because you just have to experience it, because after something happens, you have to talk about it for 10 minutes. Well, did that person actually die? Like, what happened? It's this weird Japanese soap opera.
I'm excited to see it.
Cool.
I'll give it a try, you know, but there's the other one that is just, I hope you've seen the trailer. John, what's it called? New Sky?
No Man's Sky.
No
Man's Sky.
Oh, which was just
I want to have that game's baby.
Beautiful.
It's amazing.
No, that is one of my favourite ones. But
It reminds me of Mass Effect.
Oh yeah, I agree. Absolutely. Another one of my favorites.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
that is really good.
Sorry,
so going back
to
to Shadows of Mordor, do you think they've gone in the right sort of direction, making it adult orientated? Because some of the footage that I've seen is pretty graphic. I mean, really graphic. But do you think they've sort of done that? Because wouldn't they be kind of, I don't know, turning their back on a whole swathe of possible fans?
No.
I think they have to go where the money is, and the money is with the mature rated games. I mean, especially kids now. You know. Well, I see what you're saying. I mean, I guess you do have the Lego Lord of the Rings for kids to play.
Right.
Yeah.
But,
Amen.
Yeah.
I mean, I have really wanted, like, I liked playing War in the North. Like, I just feel like there hasn't been a good Lord of the Rings title, like a really good standout, you know, like a flagship sort of, because most of them are good or they're decent, but no one's, like, raving about it. Yeah. And this is Tolkien. Like, surely someone needs to give this man, like, the treatment he deserves.
Yeah.
John still plays the MMO. I can't believe it, but
The MMO is actually really, really good. It's very atmospheric.
And as a free-to-play game, it's probably one of the best free-to-play MMOs out there, other than Star Trek.
DC
is really good. But talking about E3, Nancy, any news on Star Wars Battlefront 3?
You know what? I think there was. Me and my somewhat Star Wars blindness. Not really, but I just I don't know. I normally wouldn't spoil myself on the new Star Wars films, but I feel like they have to sort of prove that they're not going to be crap a little bit before I decide I'm going to go with game. That.
Yeah. I mean, the first two Battlefront games are amazing. They are fantastic. I mean, me and Mark and Paul used to play those pretty much non-stop all the time. They were incredible. And Battlefront 3 is long overdue, especially on next-generation consoles.
And they still haven't said when it's going to be released.
Yeah, that's really annoying.
So, who knows when that is. Although it does sound like...
Sorry, Nancy, I was going to say, all I can tell you about Battlefront is that they've given the crew these really nifty T-shirts to wear.
Yeah.
Battlefront, we posted it on the site. That's all I can tell you about Battlefront. That's bad. They're working on it. And they actually, I know that they went to the archive and they scanned all the original models and even sent some of the guys from, because they were a Scandinavian team, aren't they? They sent them to the actual location. So they went to Finse, they went to the Redwood Forests, went to all over the place, and they've actually visited the location. So they're trying to be as authentic as possible. So they really are going for it.
Awesome.
That's fantastic.
I've got a question for Nancy.
Oh, okay.
Skyrim Online.
Oh, okay. So
the Elder Scrolls MMO.
Yeah, all right. So I was all primed to play that. I ended up, I forget, something like real life came up and I couldn't actually start on the launch weekend to play. So I kept putting it off because I was busy or I was playing something else. And then at some point, I mean, I played in the beta and I really enjoyed it. I love Skyrim. I love the Elder Scrolls. I don't know what it was. It didn't particularly grab me, which isn't, I mean, I know there are probably like millions of users, but I enjoyed it, but I almost would prefer like just the solo Skyrim experience. Like, people are stupid in general, and I don't really want to muck about with you. I mean, if I'm going to do that, I already have like 2 level 80 alts on Guild Wars 2. Like, I'm not going to grind on some other systems. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds great. I mean, I liked it. I was like, it's Skyrim the whole time, but then I never had like a burning desire to go back and actually buy it and play it. So,
yeah. I was the same with the Old Republic. It's a good game. And I probably played it for about 3 or 4 weeks, but then, I don't know, I just kind of lost interest because it felt like a single-player game. They'd jammed in this MMO side to it. I never really felt that it was a proper MMO game. And it was great to go to places, and there was these vast expanse and what have you, and especially on Coruscant. I mean, that was really fantastic. Yeah. But, I don't know, it just felt, I just didn't feel like it was going anywhere, which was a massive shame. Because it's a beautiful looking game, the production values are fantastic, the music, the look, the feel, and I love the War of the Sith history. I think that's absolutely fantastic. But I don't know, it just didn't grab me, didn't do anything for me.
Mark, will they be doing a new Star Wars Lego?
Lego game? I've not heard anything. James is the Lego expert, but I would be absolutely amazed if they didn't, because they all sold buttloads and they were all really good fun. I mean, I'm not a gamer at all. I mean, John knows I've always wanted to. I've bought plenty of consoles. I'm the same with gaming as I am with going to the gym. I've been a member of many gyms. I'm the most out of shape person in the world, and I mean, I'm looking. I've got an Xbox 360. I've got a PS2 and an Atari 2600, and I've owned other things in the past and shifted them on. Like that, I had a PS3. Barely ever used, and it's gathered dust. I'm just hopeless. I've got every intention. I bought the Old Republic. John just mentioned it. Obviously, I'm looking at my collection room. I'm in my collection room. I'm looking at that nice big £50 box set with the DVD and the statue and that still in the box. You know, I've got pretty much every LucasArts game ever released. Never played any of them, so I'm just hopeless. I'll have a crack on other people's games when they're playing. I used to come around to John's house when Grand Theft Auto was out and just sit there asking him to change the channels on the music because I was enjoying the music. Play the game. Yeah. So I remember very fondly being at Paul Squire's house whilst we all sat around watching Louis play Rebel Assault 2 for about 13 hours.
Yeah, that was great.
Happy days.
I wish I was in a coma kind of way.
Can I have a go? Yeah, in a minute. Can I have a go? Yeah, in a minute. Just let me get to this level.
Just want to fly the Falcon. Give me a minute. Yeah.
Oh no.
I do play Angry Birds on my phone, so that's about my extent.
Right, did you say, Mark, you've still got a PlayStation 2?
Yeah, I got a PS2.
Battlefront
2's in it.
You got Battlefront 1 and 2?
Yeah.
Shit, I'm coming around to yours later.
See, I don't understand that. I remember when I first started dating John, I watched him put the Battlefront on and he played as the Stormtroopers, and I was just like, there has to be something fundamentally wrong with this man to play a baddie. Alarm bells were going then, and I said, John, maybe you should play as something.
Well, sometimes you just got to do some fascist smackdown, haven't you?
Yeah, that's it. There.
Well, which is why I like Assassin's Creed. I get to be horribly violent towards other people, but, feel morally upright about it.
It's like, Warcraft, I started a Horde character. I just couldn't go through with it. It was a lovely fluffy cow.
I couldn't do that either, which means I shouldn't play. Well, I have an obsessive personality, so I shouldn't play anyway. But I could never be like, what else is in the Horde? I forget.
It was a cow. I had a cow.
It's a cow?
Yeah,
you mean a Tauren?
That's it, a Tauren. I was a druid cow. Well, you can't laugh, really. They've got pandas.
Yeah, that's true. They've got pandas in Warcraft now, so...
True. There was a game, Lisa, that I thought about you when I saw it. We heard like a sniff of it, but then we got a really nice presentation at E3. The Order, 1866.
Oh, the steampunk one. That looks amazing.
That's the one. Yeah.
Oh, we need a bit of that.
It comes out next February. I totally thought of you the entire time because it seems very... or like it's going to dabble in the occult, and it sounds like.
Oh my god! Let them get it right. Oh my god!
It's like a werewolf ruling class, and like it's the Arthurian legend type of order, like with knights. I think very steampunky, high res graphics.
Research. We just need a good pagan game.
Well, you may get it with this. I don't know.
Might do, yeah.
It's hard to say. And my last sad bit of news, I don't know who plays... Oh, John, I know you play Fallout.
Yeah.
Alas, still no news from Bethesda on Fallout 4. Because they lie frequently.
They do.
Talk about rumors. Boy, the Bethesda folks are really good at stringing you along, lying to you, and not telling you things they said they would. But yeah, still no announcement for Fallout 4, although clearly they're working on it.
Well, I certainly hope so, because it seems to me they might have sunk everything into the Elder Scrolls at the moment. But there's so much more that you can do with Fallout. I mean, the Fallout games are amazing. Fallout New Vegas was great fun. There's loads more that they can do.
Agreed. Well, the rumor is that it's set in Boston. I think that's pretty sound. There were some leaked casting documents for voice actors last year, and one of them said MIT Tech, so hopefully it kind of makes sense. They would have to have it in an infrastructure. Unfortunately, it's stuck in America. It would be fun to see that environment like in London. Oh my God. I'm not going to get excited because it won't happen. But
I think
that
it works
really
in
cool.
America, though. It works.
Yeah, but the music and the attitude.
50s,
Yeah, that's the whole thing, isn't it? Yeah.
Thing.
Oh, the 50s, yeah.
Two Dog, or whatever his name is. Three Dog.
Three Dog.
I've got the Pip-Boy Pro app on my phone, and every now and then I just crack it on. And he talks to you like it's a proper radio show, that you're listening to Radio 1. It's exactly like that. It's brilliant. I love it. There's not enough. I love it.
It's just sour that they're not coming to Texas yet.
Yeah. It only really works in America because it'd be like having Grand Theft Auto in the UK. It just wouldn't work because all that kind of humour and the sort of the feel and the atmosphere would just be lost.
At some point, Danny Dyer would turn up as well and wreck it all. So.
just ruining any credibility that the game ever had.
True. Very true. Let's see. Lisa, I'm sure you're excited for Dragon Age Inquisition.
Oh my God!
The trailer's
here we go.
You're going to lose me for a while when that comes out.
Okay.
Clearly.
I'm still playing Origins. I love it so much.
Oh my goodness!
I have not found it. They took over Star Wars. What was the name of the game, John?
Was it 1313?
No,
1313.
No, Star Wars. Was it 1313?
That was Naughty Dog, wasn't it?
Yeah, they took over that, and it's like a turn-based system game.
I was thinking something else.
1313's the one got cancelled, isn't it? So
yeah, that's right. Yeah, almost finished, and they cancelled it. That was a beautiful looking game.
It might still come back though. It might still come back.
We can only hope.
Yeah.
Indeed.
I just think the Dragon Age Origins, they got it so right. And then it's not even called Dragon Age 2, but to me it is Dragon Age 2, but Awakenings, that was terrible. Then they made Dragon Age 2.
That's what I've heard. Okay.
Dragon Age 2 didn't follow what we thought it was going to be.
And it was very linear as well. It was
just like, what?
Yeah.
We saw this raven-haired boy all grown up, and then we thought, yeah, this is going to be Morrigan's and Alistair's son. No. And then I just kind of got a bit of the new one. Oh, my God. It's like they're back on form. The lore within this game is sick. It's brilliant. I just sounded like Joey Essex then.
Yeah.
You did a bit.
Ream.
Yeah, here's another gaming connection. I can give you a slight gaming connection. I actually met Joey Essex at the Star Wars Connection.
That's not a connection, that's a problem.
It was at a computer game launch, so yeah, just to prove that I have got something to do with computer games.
Right.
What was the game?
Star Wars
ABC.
Connect.
Oh,
You know, the one where you dance with Lando and Han in the disco version of Bespin. It's really good.
Oh, yeah.
Because we did the box opening, didn't we? We put it on the site.
The opening, we did the review. One of us played it, the other one typed about it. Yeah.
Yeah. I threw my back out trying to take out that Rancor, didn't I?
Oh my God, I couldn't breathe for 3 days.
I'm laughing.
That's excellent. There are a bunch of other things. I don't know. I'm trying to think. There are plenty of games from Nintendo that I thought of your son, and he would like to play them, I'm sure. Do y'all have a Wii U?
No,
we don't. No.
He's kind of moved on to the Xbox now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's going to happen.
Yeah, gaming stuff right now is...
We had a couple of Wiis. We've got rid of both of them now. And at the moment, it's all about the 360.
He just it's the Lego Batman.
Lego Batman.
And of course...
Lego Lord of the Rings.
That thing that's addictive. It's like Skynet for kids, Minecraft.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my gosh. Every kid I know plays Minecraft.
Thanks to Stampy Longhead.
Yeah, that dude is a genius. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, Notch. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Mm.
One of those things that you wish you thought of, like the...
Incredibly rich.
Mm.
Oh, my God, yeah. But he's such a nice guy. I hope he's like that in real life.
I think he is. If you're literally like in his hometown, he'll meet you.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, he's a nice
Don't tell
guy.
Bruce that. Don't tell Bruce that because do you know he's a god to 7-year-olds.
Oh, you're Bruce
I know,
loves
but
him.
you're going to have to take Bruce to Sweden.
Oh my God.
Well, you're a lot closer than I am. That seems like a really far trip for me.
That's the kind of thing that I'd say. Yeah, well, it's near you, isn't it, Nancy?
Right.
No, Lisa, it's about 9 hours away. No, it's not. Come on.
Oh, Lisa. Lisa has no idea how big Texas actually is.
I've been to Texas.
Oh.
Texas is I got lost in Texas. Sounds like a preacher book, doesn't it?
Texas.
I actually got lost in Texas. I went to there was a fan days about 3 years ago, and in Fort Worth, so that great big sandcrawler type building. Went to the convention centre, landed on the day before, and we left the airport and we were driving to the hotel. And long story short, I've been away for 26 hours, and it took us 2 hours to drive 15 minutes because I kept missing the turn off, and I was so tired, I just kept missing the turn off, and oh God, it was hard. Texas was lovely. I was only talking about it today.
Texas was lovely.
I'm very much looking forward to coming back one day, but yes, I got lost in Texas.
Thank you, Texas.
Wherever you are.
Texas says you come back now.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah, there you go, Lisa.
I've got some late breaking news. I'm just reading some late breaking news. Dark Horse have announced,
right,
and John will understand how important this is to me because John collected one title and I collected the other. 30 years on, John.
Go on.
Gru versus Conan, issue 1 is out.
Get the hell out of town.
I'm looking at the pictures now, and it is Conan drawn properly, and Gru drawn as Gru.
Is it Conan as in like Savage Sword of Conan drawn?
I saw that. I saw that this morning. Yeah.
Amazing. It looks amazing. I'm so excited about that.
Right, you need to send me a link, and I'll add it to the article underneath this blog.
I will. I'm doing it now as we speak.
Hooray!
Wait, so I've got to ask, who collected Conan and who collected Gru?
I collected Conan. I've only got a few issues left. A
John's
lot of my issues were unfortunately got lost and destroyed in water damage. But Mark has got a shed load of Gru, and Gru's fantastic.
Do you know who'd make
Conan as well, haven't you, Mark?
Do you know who'd make a good Conan?
Who? Oh, here we go. Who?
Sorry, Lisa, what did you say?
Can't say that. You can't say that.
I think John would agree.
Sorry, who could play Conan?
Carl Urban.
Sorry,
There we go.
I still can't hear you.
Carl Urban, John. Carl.
What?
Heinz Urban.
What?
You can hear me.
What? Jason
We'll talk about
Momoa
this
was
later.
a fantastic Conan. He was a fantastic Conan. He looked
Will he
great,
be a fantastic actor
except for the
now?
eye colours. But the film wasn't very good at all.
I think
but
that's
I think Momoa was a great Conan. He's a great looking Conan. Certainly closer to Conan than Arnold Schwarzenegger ever was.
Isn't it? Momoa, unusual choice for Aquaman?
No, perfect.
No, big dude, big boisterous
Perfect.
voice.
He looks like an Atlantean.
Okay.
He looks like an Atlantean. He's
If
dyed his hair blonde.
I'd be more less surprised if they'd said he's playing Namor, because they are looking at doing a Namor film, aren't they?
Yeah.
But
Well,
that did surprise me. So
isn't Chris Hemsworth going to do Doc Savage?
I wouldn't surprise. That would
He's
fit.
crossing over. That's like Sol Campbell leaving Spurs for Arsenal. I don't get it. I don't get it.
I don't get it either.
No, you wouldn't.
No,
I feel like standing at the gates and saying no.
Oh,
You're not coming in. No, I'm not. I will not.
Oh, come on.
Actually, I quite like it. I think I like what he's done with Thor. I do like
Yes,
Thor. I would say
exactly.
out of them all, it was good. And he looks like. And the more I think about it, he looks like Doc Savage.
It could work.
I quite like it. All this. I like the idea of the pulp coming back. It's good.
Pulp Adventure's always good.
Tarzan, him, isn't it? Like, remember Roy Ely when he did Doc Savage in that film?
Yeah. I reckon he could pull it off. I reckon he could do it. But once again, it's one of those rumours things.
Rumours.
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 Nancy, anything else for me three?
Just, well, if you're a Legend of Zelda fan, which I am, we were shown a new game, which is landmark because it is the first open world Zelda, or at least that's what they've promised. Hopefully that's what they deliver. But it looks open world, like truly like an RPG open world, which would be incredible.
Cool.
Yep. So we'll see. Who knows? They released a trailer and they were beaming and that was it. So
they released some fantastic trailers this year at E3. Some of them were absolutely stupendous. My favourite one was definitely No Man's Sky, because the simple idea behind that game just makes me very, very excited. I think that's going to be amazing. If they come through what they promised, it's going to be incredible, and I'm going to spend my life playing that.
I agree. Well, hopefully, is that supposed to come out this year?
A year after next, I think.
Yeah, 2015. Practically everything was 2015. I forget whose press conference it was, but my husband and I looked at each other. We're like, "Is anything coming out this year?" Yeah. Well, Shadow of Mordor, so we'll have to see. And The Witcher 3, which we could talk about for an entire podcast.
Well,
I'm very excited
it's
about
Project
that.
Red doing Witcher 3 again, isn't it? Because at the moment they're also working on Cyberpunk 2077. And I don't know if you've seen the trailer for that. One of the most beautifully CGI trailers. Well, of course it's CGI, it's a bloody computer game. But it's one of the most beautiful trailers using Archive's Bullets soundtrack. It just looks amazing. Just if you go on YouTube, type in Cyberpunk 2077 trailer, and just it's just beautiful. It's a beautiful watch. It's absolutely gorgeous. That's something I'm really looking forward to.
Indeed. Ooh, I think you sent me that link before. I'll have to watch.
Have a look. It's beautiful.
I will.
Right. Well, my topic for this evening is just a quick question. It's going to be about Blade Runner. This last few days I've been getting back into some of my older films that I absolutely love, mainly Alien, Outland and Blade Runner. Blade Runner especially, that 1982 classic, which not only is an amazing movie, also spawned the incredible making of documentary Dangerous Days, which is in itself is an amazing watch to see what went wrong and what went into making that film. It is a seminal classic. I mean, I didn't like it when it first came out because I was only a kid. So I was always concerned Han Solo wasn't doing what I really wanted him to do. He was walking around in the dark looking pissed off, and that's not what I wanted. And then I watched it a few years later, not long after Akira originally came out, one of the first movies here, because it was that cyberpunk feel. So I went back to Blade Runner, absolutely loved it. Then watched the director's cut, fell in love with it completely, and now that I've watched the final cut, it's that is, for me, the definitive version. I mean, no doubt they're going to bring out the Christmas cut and the I've stubbed my toe cut, and we were a bit bored last Tuesday, so we felt like doing something cut. But the final cut to me is the definitive one. That's what I'm going to stick with now. But there has been a rumour flying around that Ridley Scott, whilst Harrison Ford's been over in London filming the new Star Wars, he's met up with Ridley Scott, and that they've given each other man hugs after supper, and by the looks of it, they're having a bit of a chat, and maybe something's in the pipeline. For a new Blade Runner film, Ridley Scott, I enjoy Prometheus. I didn't have a problem with it. I do understand that it has its faults, but I do appreciate it. I think it is a good film. But where could he go with a new Blade Runner film? And would a new Blade Runner film even work in this day and age? Look at the old Blade Runner. Its predictions of the future, that dystopian nightmare, is very analogue science fiction. But these days, of course, it's all holograms and touchscreen, flat screen crap and mind control stuff. So it's and Google Glass. So, you know what I mean? Where can they go with that kind of science fiction? So surely the future is a lot brighter now than they originally predicted back in 1982. And I'm going to point that question directly at Mark.
That's a very good question. Thing about the original Blade Runner, which, like I say, it's from arguably the greatest summer for movies ever, isn't it? You'd say 82, 84 are the two greatest ever summers, or years. It nailed that dystopian future, as you've said, so well, and embedded it so well. And now here we are. It's not that many years away. Presumably another Blade Runner film is going to be set another 30 years on. Presumably. Yeah. I don't know. It depends on what Ridley wants to do. Will he want to go back to the well and try and tell that story again? You know, he's got all the technology and tools in the world to make the Blade Runner world look amazing. And incidentally, just on the subject of Blade Runner, speaking to Paul Bateman, who I know John talks to fairly regularly, he said there's a place in Camden Market which was an inspiration for a lot of the sort of
Cyberdog.
Exactly. The sort of the market areas.
Yeah, I went there. Yeah, I love it there.
Yeah, and he said it's very evocative. So Ridley can obviously recreate that look and vibe. Black Rain. You're only going to see Black Rain. He can nail that look. Story-wise, I don't know. I mean, it's going to be mostly new characters, presumably. A lot of characters. Pretty much everybody was gone by the end of that last film. And Executive is a replicant. I thought replicants only live for so long, so I don't know. Maybe there's going to be a twist on the story there. I don't know. How does he want to play it? Like you say, there's so many other films. I mean, Minority Report, which when it came out, people were like, yeah, that's a cool film. And now the more the years go on, the more relevant and more actually quite brilliant that film is, because a lot of the stuff that they predicted, I mean, Spielberg famously got a think tank together to think what's going to be happening in technology over the next 20, 30 years. And a lot of the stuff that was thought of in the Minority Report is actually starting to come true. And I know that came from another Philip K. Dick story as well, didn't it? So, but it's a tricky one, isn't it? He could go completely the other way and turn the Blade Runner world into bright and shiny and everything turned out wonderful. But
then it wouldn't be Blade Runner.
Precisely, that's the problem.
That's the thing. See, I didn't mind what he did with Prometheus, because even though it was set in the Alien universe and it was obviously the prequel to Alien, it wasn't Alien. It was completely different. It was telling a different story in a different way. It wasn't trying to show that kind of gothic Lovecraftian body horror that the original movie had. It was something a little bit more sort of thoughtful, like who created us, that kind of Von Daniken kind of aspect. Yeah. And so it was its own film. It wasn't trying to be a new Alien. So we could make those changes and introduce that new technology and have those sort of flashy, bright ships. But with Blade Runner, it's a completely different story. What made Blade Runner was, I mean, the actual city itself and the look and that kind of art sort of feel, that kind of film noir, sort of 1950s gumshoe feel to it. That's what made the film. So he really has to go back down that route again.
You make a good point there, because that film, as the environment became, because it was so brilliantly designed, as important as the story.
It's a character in itself.
You put it is. You put something on Facebook the other day. You put that beautiful painting of the front cover of a book, and you said, "Oh, imagine if they did like Blade Runner prequels with this beautiful art in that 50s."
Yeah, that kind of 50s pulp dime novel thing. Yeah,
exactly. But the story it's almost forgotten because the acting, the design, and the music and everything was so iconic that the setting almost overtook the story. And I think if they're going to do another Blade Runner story, another Blade Runner film, it would be very easy to do kind of what they did with what Riddick did, where you got Pitch Black, which was a very tight, self-contained story, and then their next thought was, hey, let's explore this fantastic universe we've got, like they're doing with Avatar. Hey, you know, they tell, okay, it's Cameron telling the same story again with different effects but the same music and a massive budget, and now they're doing Avatar 2, 3 and 4, and it's like, oh, well, Avatar 2 will go and explore the oceans, and Avatar 3 will explore the rest of the solar system, and Avatar 4 will look into our navel, I don't know. So they'll go off and tell all these massive stories instead of just telling a damn story, and I'm hoping that the next Blade Runner film, if it gets off the ground, which I hope it does, tells a story, because it'd be very easy to say, oh, let's go to Jupiter and see what's happening with the Tannhauser Gate and blah, blah, blah. I mean, Soldier kind of did that, didn't it? That was kind of
touched on those,
sequel, didn't it? So, it'd be interesting to see where it goes. I just hope they pick a really tight story. Blade Runner was a reasonably tight story, you know, compact story, and tell that and let the characters illuminate the story as opposed to the other way around.
Lisa?
I mean, we talked about this today. The book that you were mentioning about, you know.
Oh, Edge of Human.
Yeah.
Yeah. As long as they don't go down that route, then I'll be happy.
But John, like Mark said, you know, people are going to, they've set it out so often, they're going to be deaths with the characters because replicants, of course, don't have a long shelf life. And, you know, these characters are going to die for some means. So sometimes it's very much like the Star Wars. I'm happy about the new films because I wanted to move forward for so long. We've had the prequels, and you know I want to see things afterwards. I'm not a great fan of prequels or alternate universes, so I'm excited for it. And I think there's literally a very blank canvas with this. I think anything is possible as long as it's in that vein. And I actually said to John, "You can speak about anything that you want tonight, but don't slag off Almost Human."
You see, all you've done now is given me permission to slag off Almost
I've just
Human.
said, quite honestly, that is what
because
I spoke to you nicely about. But the vein through it, but even if you see in Fifth Element, which is one of my favourite films of all time, there's still a lot of films you can tell got that aura of what we think the future's going to be. Even in some respect, Firefly, with the whole Canton and English mix, it's, you know, we owe a lot to that world. And I think that if it remains true to it, and then, once again, it's the man who gave us this is going to have a lot to do with it. So, in faith with Ridley, we do. That's it. I don't care what anyone says about Prometheus. That man gave you Alien. Shut up.
Here.
He gave it to you. He can do what he wants with it. If he wanted to stick someone in a cardboard box with a face painted as an alien on it, there you go. That's art.
But people could have said the same thing in 1999 before Phantom Menace, couldn't they? George made this, he can do what he wants, and look at the flack he took after. So it goes both ways, doesn't it?
It's true, but the thing is, once you've made something, you put it out there for public consumption, then people are going to have an opinion, and you've got to be prepared for that.
But the thing is, what I would say about George Lucas, you're absolutely right, Mark. He gave everybody Star Wars. But yourself, you know that fans within the Star Wars universe have contributed a lot to the stories and how it has grown. I don't think it was ever past the first Star Wars film where it solely belonged to George Lucas. It grew. He had a lot done for him. And
the extended universe?
The extended universe and just the passion of the alien races that were built for him. Just, you know, it was a lot down to do with the fan bases. So it feels almost like a bit of an open license controlled with Star Wars, but with Prometheus and Aliens and Blade Runner, I just think, you know, this is the man who made Geiger give you nightmares. You know, I can't even look. I'm telling you now, Daddy Longlegs had the same effect as a face hugger to me.
I saw that tweet the other day. That made me smile.
I really do. I feel like if I sleep, it's going to go on my face, wrap itself around my neck, and make me have. Oh God!
Can I tell you something?
That conversation's gone really weird.
Lisa, Lisa, I don't want to freak you out, but there's Ruth, my wife Ruth, told me a very interesting fact about Daddy Longlegs. If Daddy Longlegs had teeth strong enough to break the surface,
they're the world's most dangerous spider, right?
Yeah, they're the most deadly. They're the most deadliest venom out there.
Do you understand why I scream for you now, John?
No.
When John eats them in his sleep. Yeah.
I'm telling you, there's just face huggers are the most terrifying thing in the world, and I just think if someone gives you that, have a little bit of faith in them. He's not pretentious enough. I think the worst thing he ever did was Kingdom of Heaven. And I liked that. It wants to get research, but it wasn't that bad.
The director's cut was much better than the theatrical cut. The Kingdom of Heaven, the additional material in that was absolutely incredible. But going back to what you were saying about, this is the guy that created it. Yeah, you've got to have a lot of faith in the director, but I think it goes both ways. I think the director's got to have a lot of faith in the fans as well. Because at the end of the day, these are the people that he's making it for. And if he wants to do some kind of personal project which only meant something to him, then don't put it out there.
But saying that though, the first one was successful without being for the fans.
Well, I think when the first one came out, it wasn't as successful as they wanted it to be, and it became more of a cult film. And it's only recently, in the past sort of 10, 15 years, that people have sort of realised that it is a seminal classic, and it did change the face of
science fiction,
of science fiction cinema in many respects. And Alien did the same. And again, Star Wars did the same. 2001 did the same. Planet of the Apes did the same. There's always been these movies which have basically changed people's perceptions of science fiction cinema. Blade Runner was one of them.
He, for me, defined the term dirty sci-fi. Because you look at the ship, the mining ship that they were on, it wasn't white, the walls weren't white, they were filth.
It was blue-collar science fiction.
Exactly, and my most favourite film of all time is Moon, for the very reason that he embraced that. Yeah. He embraced that. I just think that if he decides to do it, I'll go watch it with that, and I'll be very excited to see it. I'm excited.
Yeah. Nancy?
Oh, let's see. All right, so I saw Blade Runner late in my life. I guess I would say like 15 or 16. That seems late to me because all the other things that I saw were a lot earlier. I think for me, my Blade Runner is Neuromancer. Yeah. And I always wanted to see that as a film, but I always thought that they'd probably cock it up, so I was kind of happy they didn't. But I know that I went back to watch Blade Runner recently with my husband, like as an older person who can actually appreciate it. I kind of agree. I think it was Mark who said you kind of lose the story a smidge, because with all of the imagery that neo-noir feel like there's so much to look at and take in that it's kind of, for me, the story, while I like the story, is more secondary. I think it's one of those rare films that can actually subsist on just like its flash alone. Yeah. Which is great. I have no idea where they would go. I mean, I know it's based on, is there a sequel to Android's Dream of Electric Sheep?
No, there isn't, no.
Oh, well, I mean.
Well, though, to be fair, Blade Runner the film is virtually nothing like the original story. They took the aspects of the Philip K. Dick story and then basically just made their entire own film with it. So, you know what I mean? So they are two different entities. They are sort of in a kind of a shared universe, but they are both their own thing.
I mean, I think they have enough set pieces that they could definitely make another story. It's just whether it would be as good. I don't know. I mean, you'd either have to have it set at around the same time period so you could use the same set pieces. Yeah. Because I mean, what would that technology look like if you set it later on? I mean, wouldn't it naturally evolve? So I'm not sure what it would look like. But I'm with Lisa. I very much prefer the realistic sci-fi to the idealized, shiny, white kind of look to it.
Because when also as well, it's a lot of it's to do with attitude as well. Because when they originally made the first film, I mean, Ridley Scott was already in a very dark place because he just lost his brother to cancer, and Harrison Ford basically didn't want to make it, and he didn't get on with Ridley Scott. And there's loads of other aspects as well. There's problems with the screenwriters. There's strikes on at the time and all sorts. So you know, things weren't fantastic during the making of it. So it's capturing that zeitgeist at exactly the same time. Right. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that everybody should sort of get themselves depressed and kick a dog around for a couple of hours before sort of going on set. But at the same time, it was that kind of driving emotion and that kind of negativity that made the film such an amazing success in the first place, and why it's such an amazing piece of work. So it's capturing that. It's
right.
I think it's going to be very difficult for him to make it. But saying that, Blade Runner on screen using the effects technology that they've got now. I'm sorry, I've got to see it. I've got to see where they can go with that and what they can do with it.
Are you sure that it won't look? Well, I say that, and yet the set pictures that they've been leaking from Episode 7 look very much true to the original, like you said, analog sort of Star Wars look, which I think is essential because that's what Star Wars is to most of us. It's not,
I think the Lord of the Rings films got it right, whereas they use a lot of miniature. And again, I mean, the episodes 1, 2, and 3 use a lot of miniatures, so you can't say that was they're just CGI fests. I mean, there's something. I'm not a fan of those 3 films, but there's something I can never knock, and that's the special effects. They are incredible. They are amazing. But I think Lord of the Rings got it right because there was that beautiful mix of guys in suits and models and CGI effects, and it worked really, really well. And that's one of the things to me that's let down the Hobbit films a little bit. Was the fact that everything's CGI, all the orcs are CGI. As great as they look, it's not a guy. There's nothing tactile about them. I prefer guys in suits, but then again, I prefer Ray Harryhausen special effects. You know what I mean? I'm an old grognard, so you know what I mean. So I'm never going to be happy. But I would just love to see how they. I mean, I know how they realised Los Angeles 2019 in the original Blade Runner film. I would love to see if they did set it on 30 years, like Mark said. I would love to see what they do with that and where they go with it and how much worse the city can get, and just utilising those effects. But I don't know. It's one of those things that we keep our fingers crossed and hope the damn thing gets made.
Yeah, really.
Right. Well, that's 1 hour 23 minutes, everyone.
Well done.
Believe it or not.
Well played.
So incredibly well done, and I hope you've all had a good time. I know I certainly have. I don't know why I'm saying that, but there you go. Does anybody else have any parting shots? Mark Newbold.
Parting shots. No, I will just do a horrible, cheesy plug from our website, JediNews.co.uk. And if you get the chance, have a listen to our podcast, Radio 1138. There you go. Cheap plug.
Beautiful. Lisa?
I just want to let everyone know that me and Bruce will be cosplaying as Jawas at a convention coming to you soon. And if anybody wants to reach out to me, I'm at BatHobbit on Twitter.
Nancy?
Well, I guess I don't really have anything that's particularly exciting. My husband and I are going to a sort of a gaming convention where we bring our PCs in the middle of July, so that'll be great for 5 days. We'll do nothing but play games until my eyeballs bleed. So this is exciting. And I guess if you're interested in me shouting into the universe, you can also follow me on Twitter at DASMOOSH. Swoosh.
And I would just like to say that I'm here to represent farsightblogger.blogspot.co.uk, on which you'll find lots of stuff about gaming, that is tabletop gaming, like role-playing games and that sort of thing, and the odd comic, book or film review. And I think that pretty much wraps it up for the first episode of NOMCAST. I'd like to thank Mark Newbold, Lisa Hicks and Nancy Petru for joining us and coming together and talking and basically just turning up. So, I'd like to say goodbye.
Can we thank Carl Urban? Can we thank Carl?
No, we can't thank Carl Urban.
No, we can't thank Carl Urban.
Because that means that we're thanking Carl Urban for Almost Human, and let's face it, it wasn't very good.
Oh,
right, okay, that's it there.
There it was.
Bye. Bye.
Okay, everybody say goodbye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.